So I've met people that, they go, oh, you have to have mandatory evacuation. They leave, they come to Georgia, and then you're good to go back, and they go back a year later, mandatory evacuation, and they go.
Hey, welcome back to the Living in the Athens, Georgia area podcast, where Marcelo Buril drink.
You mean Athens Real Estate Pro?
Athens Real Estate Pro, 1 in a million Brazilian.
That's me.
Has now acquired
contributed.
the coffee mug factory here in Athens.
Yeah. I mean, I was surprised to find out that it's like $35 each, but you guys deserve.
Sweet
lies. Thank you for this gift, Marcelo.
Yes,
and
guys.
you too. If you buy a house with our group,
you get a free
There
mug.
you go. You got a free mug.
You get a
We'll
mug.
even autograph it.
Yes.
And I've been talking about giving people pizza for a year if they buy certain properties I list.
Pizza.
What kind of pizza?
Been talking about pizza for a year or pizza for a year?
They should at least be able to get more than
Let's
one
clarify that. We need to
Right.
clarify that. Let's clarify.
They
That's
should be-
important
they
to
should be
clarify.
at least getting more than
Too many
the
questions.
school
Deals
pizza.
off the table.
Yeah.
Too many
They should be getting at
questions.
least
Too many
more
pizza
than
deals off the table.
Yeah.
they should be getting more than middle schoolers do at the pizza party, where it's like the teacher paying for the pizza out of their pocket,
Yeah.
and you get a slice like about this big.
Yep.
That was
That's the pizza, Milton.
Yeah.
Hey, that's just how the pizza crumbles.
Last year I didn't get no pizza.
So I wanted to talk about some good and bad things in articles that I've read recently. One by the Scientific American, which was then regurgitated by another group talking about how bad the home situation is in America. Just in 2022, hurricanes and flooding displaced 3.2 million Americans.
America needs homes.
So, Marcelo, before you were talking about how there was, do you remember how many million people wanted to buy in 2022?
Was it 70 million? Was that what it was?
70.
Wow, hold on.
I think it was
man.
like somewhere between 60 and 80.
Yeah,
Right.
I think it was like 70 something million people
And 10.
applied for a loan and were in the market.
Right. So there's a combo effect of we have some people lose jobs in some areas. I don't think this as nearly as widespread as the way we might be thinking if you listen to the big media. Right now we have big tech companies laying people off, like Amazon and Apple and whoever else. Twitter.
Today was announced that NPR will lay off people.
NPR, another
National
media
Public
company.
Radio.
NPR.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also
Another
Disney.
Alexa Ridley.
Did you guys hear Disney's laying off 7,000?
The happiest
7,000.
place on earth is laying people off.
But here's the thing. There's still thousands of other places for these people to go work. And they're going to have to get some skills probably or use jobs that don't even have their skills. So there's jobs. But let's go back to reasons why the 3.2 million people displaced. And this other article I read, over the next 5 to 10 years, 10 million more people at minimum will be displaced because of future fires and more hurricanes and more flooding. It just happens every year.
Mm-hmm.
And then now it's like, on potentially bigger scale or just now the impact is worse because the people get displaced and where are they going to go?
Yeah.
It's like if Twister, the movie, happened in real life, but every single year, a couple of times a year.
Right.
Yeah, so we're living the compounding effect.
Yes.
Like underbuilt since 08.
Underbuilt everywhere in
Yeah,
America.
so it's like you need these many houses every year to accommodate the growth and people and, birth and then population, migration, all that stuff. So you need this much, and we're underbuilding. So you go that.
Well, not just that. It's not
after
You've
10
been
years.
compounding that. It's not
Yeah.
just, okay, I'm behind 1 year. No, it's like I'm behind
Right.
this year and then this year.
Exactly.
Next
That's
year,
what
and
I'm
this
saying. So
year.
every year you're building this little, like next year. So as we go by, we're so far behind.
It makes sense now because I kept hearing
Mhm.
numbers that were like 10 million apartments short, and it's probably even more than that now. But there is solutions if people want to work hard. Now, of course, it's unfortunate. Like you get displaced, and now you might have to move to a town you didn't want to move to, but it's a good enough, especially if you are needing to buy something that's very affordable. Here in Georgia, we have that. Did you guys know that we have affordable housing in Georgia?
I thought that left a couple of years ago.
No, we still have it. I mean,
Define affordable. for our
so
audience.
I would say affordable in this current market is a property that's under 200,000.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
it's not going to be affordable for everyone, but I'll change my numbers here. But just in like the North Georgia area, or even Middle Georgia and North, the Georgia MLS alone has over 1,000, probably about 1,500 properties that you can get for under 200,000.
That's cool.
Yeah, that are at least a 3-bedroom. So if you got a family, you can fit into a 3. I had 5 kids in a 3-bedroom house that was 1,040 square feet. Cue applause.
I was about to say, you can add that in post.
Marcelo, add that in post. Marcelo,
Mm-hmm.
he's been living with
Big
2
mansion.
kids and 2 parents in what? Under
A dog.
1,500?
A
And a
dog.
dog.
And a dog under
Yeah.
1,500 square feet?
Yeah, under 1,400.
Under 14. So
Yeah.
it's like it can be done and it can be comfortable and it can be in a good town. Athens is short on, there's many jobs in Athens. Or you could even like drive a little further. You could live out in the country, but go work in Atlanta. On the south side of Atlanta, looks like there's almost 200 properties you could go after that are under 200,000. Directly next to Atlanta, Stone Mountain area, Decatur area, we got like all kinds of 180, 170, 190, lots of well-priced properties where you don't have to be making 6 figures to afford these properties.
That's good.
Those good solutions.
Now back to the original point with like the displacement. I mean, we haven't had anything, necessarily crazy as humongous natural disasters for.
What all adds up? Yeah.
It does all add up, but not like in the level of like the train wreck that happened up in Ohio where a lot of people are being displaced. Like, how does the displacement affect Georgia and more specifically?
Oh well,
The Athens
I'm saying
area.
Well,
that
if you go back to Katrina, a lot of the people that had to leave Louisiana came to Georgia.
oh yeah,
A lot. So to Athens, actually, as a matter of fact. So you start seeing.
So it doesn't really matter where they're getting
Yeah.
displaced from. They gotta go somewhere else. And they just
somewhere
might
else.
come to
They got to
Georgia.
get out of the way. So they go like where they have a family or somebody who would
Especially,
in short notice. House 5 family members that go like, yeah, just come over.
well,
not
especially
everybody
like
can.
considering all of our neighbors. If you look to our family down south in Florida, those folks, they get hit by hurricanes, and it's very.
I mean, there's been 2 ginormous hurricanes in 18 and then last year.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I remember whenever I was working at Applebee's in Waycross, and there was a really large hurricane, and they had, it was wild. They had
Probably
evacuated
the 18,
like a whole, they had moved a senior living center from Florida all the
Right.
way to like the hotel
Yeah.
behind the restaurant.
So I've met people that, they go, oh, you have to have mandatory evacuation. They leave, they come to Georgia, and then you're good to go back, and they go back a year later, mandatory evacuation, and they go. And then you have those that, last year I left, nothing happened, and the house gets pounded and destroyed. So they keep doing, and then there's folks that I've met that say, you know what, after the 3rd time, I just, why not? I'm going to stay in Georgia because I keep coming here and already been in Athens a couple
Yeah.
of times. I might as well.
So instead of making the trip from Georgia to Florida every year, just make the trip from Georgia back
down
to Florida.
for once a year to visit, go to the beach, recharge your batteries, and then come back to Georgia. Make Georgia
Yeah.
your home. Yeah.
We're glad Georgia's on your mind.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like the people don't get displaced in Georgia because we have such a small coastline, and we're further enough away from the coast. Now floods could happen again. We never know when. There was huge flood in 2009, and that there was a couple neighborhoods that got completely destroyed, but that's just a few families. But I'm trying to come up with solutions, because there's what happens is, these people who are on big media outlets that are widely read across the country, where Apple News was where one of them I found. I think it was New York Times, and the other one's Scientific America. And these writers are in big towns, and so they weren't talking about. Just took a picture with Marcelo. They weren't talking about how the people couldn't find stuff, but in a roundabout way, they were saying it. Because what they're saying is the people are getting displaced. Now they got to move somewhere they didn't ever want to go to. Or their insurance couldn't even cover a rebuild. So now they got to find something else that's affordable. Because now if they spent all their money, maybe they didn't even have a loan. Now their house is destroyed, but the insurance won't cover it because it was bad flood insurance, or they didn't have the right flood insurance or hurricane insurance. And so solutions are definitely all over if you go 20 to 30 minutes outside of the big cities. And this is the same for California, too. I mean, in California, you might have to go like an hour inland, but they have solutions there. Or you could be like, hey, there's major forest fires in California. I'm going to leave here also because the government takes all my income. Did you guys hear about that in California?
Cap.
They take all your income, what they think the outcome was going to be.
Cap.
Ooh, look at that.
Bam.
Take your income.
And then they
Drop the
took
mic.
their
Except for the
dirt.
mic's on the stand. You can't drop the mic.
Yes. I just looked on the FMLS. So we have multiple MLS systems that we use here.
Is that the family multiple listing?
It is first. It's the first MLS.
First
And we are hooked up with Alabama, the Alabama Gulf Coast, a mid-Alabama MLS, and a coastal Florida MLS. And even in those places, 745 listings in Florida on this MLS. 745 houses for under $200K. Shoot, you could go right outside of Birmingham in that area. Birmingham, Montgomery, all the way up to Huntsville area. 1,500 more listings that are under 200,000. So this is like easy solution. I mean, already these areas are growing. Huntsville is one of the fastest growing cities in the country.
Fastest in Alabama.
Number one in Alabama.
Yeah.
And Birmingham's already been a great city. Right outside of Atlanta. I mean, we got a huge, I just talked about, we already have 1,500 houses available.
Yeah.
Or you want to stay down near the coast, you could go find another 250 houses over in the Alabama coastline area.
Orange Beach.
Orange Beach, Daphne, Foley, Bayou La Bataire. You don't think I said that right?
You're going to buy what?
Gonna buy you.
Bayou.
Buy you a what?
Yeah, right outside of Mobile.
Buy
can buy
me a new guitar.
You can buy you a boat.
Right.
You can buy you a truck.
I mean, I'm looking at brick house, 1,500 square feet, 3 bedrooms, $149,000.
Wow.
So, what are some reasons that people might choose to move to North Georgia, or more specifically around the Athens area?
Oh, we're
Supposed
switching
to.
back. We're switching gears.
We're talking about migration. Like,
Right.
why should somebody choose
Why would
Athens
somebody choose? Well,
as
so
opposed to anywhere else?
I mean, so
What's Athens got?
one of
to
my
offer to people.
one of my easiest things is, okay, besides the great jobs, so that we're not even going to count that. It's great jobs here, but there's no traffic. You can have such an amazing quality of life and have everything you need, all the shopping, the food, the fun, and there's no traffic. It's so great. You know, like so many people I've talked to that have moved out here that used to live in Atlanta, or maybe they lived in Charlotte or whatever other big city. You know, you're hitting with like 5 o'clock traffic. You better make sure you don't hit 5 o'clock traffic. Like we do not have
Right. But the point is your 5 o'clock traffic starts at 3:30.
right.
It's like there's no
That's a problem.
There's no escaping the 5 o'clock because it starts at 3:30.
And like here, like once you live here, and Rob, you might attest to this. Like if you sit in 2 lights, you're like, oh, I'm mad. I didn't get to go through the light. Now I got to wait for one more light.
Yeah, that idiot in front of me. Now I've got to sit another
30 seconds.
minute and a half at a light.
Right. And like, but
I've had 3 lights today. I've had to wait 7 minutes.
I got
from
into
here
a
to
fist
there.
fight at the corner of Barnett Shoals and College Station.
Well, you gotta do you gotta do the back, you know, the negative of that, you know, of not having traffic. You do not have that excuse. Oh man, I'm sorry, I'm late. Traffic was terrible.
Well, you shouldn't be making excuses anyway.
Well, I will say this.
You should not be making.
That's a homeschool kid answer.
No,
You
in
should
the
not be
event,
making
in the
you shouldn't make
event you're
excuses.
late. In the event you're late.
In the event, you make it sound
In
like
the
it
event.
just happened. Like,
Yeah.
just like, oh, they
I'm
just,
never
they
late,
just
man.
happened to me.
Never. As a matter of fact,
Being
the last
late
time
does
I was
just happen
late,
to you. I am a great example of that. I do my
You gotta
best
take
every
ownership,
morning.
extreme ownership.
Boy Scouts, do your best to God and country. Blah blah blah.
I mean, all serious in traffic. I mean, I'm originally from Athens, so that's like the perspective I know. Like waiting 7 minutes in traffic is super irritating. But compared to like someone living somewhere else, like 7 minutes is nothing.
I mean, I had a closing last week.
Imagine
in
trying to
Atlanta,
go-
in Decatur, and you go, you know, you hit 85, and then like, it was like 1 o'clock, and then you just get to those.
Yeah, you think you'd be going to a drive-in movie or something because
No.
all the cars are like sitting still on 285.
Just to stop, and then you go, and then you get off of 85. Yeah, I went to. It was on Jimmy Carter Boulevard,
Ooh,
and then it just
rough.
stops, and you're going like a block, and you can, you know, like you cannot make that light because it's gonna go real quick
You almost feel like you could get out of your car and walk faster.
and walk fast. Yeah,
I'm going to the airport tonight to drop my roommate off. So,
You better leave now. What are we doing here?
what am I doing here?
you better leave, man.
Yeah, I did.
What time's this flight?
His flight
Yeah.
at 8.
Oh man, you're crazy.
So you got to get
You're
him there
pushing
by
the limit,
6, and that means you need to leave here at 4.
Yeah.
Don't
You
worry,
got an
bro.
hour and a half.
Yeah,
Don't
we
worry,
got.
bro.
Yeah,
You
him and
got
I were
time.
talking about leaving
Right.
at 4.
Oh, that's another good reason why living out here is because let's say you lived in the areas of Atlanta that are packed with traffic. So you're living in Norcross, Sandy Springs, Roswell, Marietta. Most of these places, if you got to go to the airport, it's almost an hour, unless you're like right closer to the airport, like College Park or East Point.
Yeah.
Or you live inside the perimeter, it might take 30 minutes. Or you could live in Athens, where it's about an hour and 20 minutes,
Yep.
no matter what time you leave.
No matter what time you leave,
It's an hour and 20 minutes. So, like,
So you got that same
to go-
access to travel.
right. And to the best international airport in the entire world, Atlanta, Hartsfield,
The busiest.
The busiest for show.
Jackson Airport. Yeah, another great reason to move to Athens besides no traffic, Alec wants to say.
I was just telling Rob to do this when
Do this when
Ban
you're talking.
apps Airport.
mic like this.
Like that.
You're talking into it this way or this way, and you're talking to it this way. So you're going.
I'll
Well,
hold
don't
it
forget
like
that
you
Athens
know.
has the Ben apps, international
Works
Ben
right.
apps.
It's eventually
all in one spot.
Athens will have an international airport because you only got to have a couple more.
Especially now that we won back-to-back championships.
It will be an
Back-to-back
international
national
airport
championships.
because we're talking about Bulldog Nation.
Nation. So be
Nation.
nation, yeah.
Boom.
Drop it.
Not on my keys.
I had another reason.
What, that Athens so cool to?
No, I can't remember.
Tis the season.
My good reason.
It's the season for the reason.
Give us
He's-
a bad reason, maybe a good reason.
A bad reason why you don't want to move here?
No, a bad reason to move to Athens.
Right.
A bad reason to move to Athens? I don't know. It's kind of pretty sometimes.
It's only sometimes.
No,
It's a little hot in the summers, but that's about it.
Only sometimes.
Very hot.
Buddy. It's starting now. So seriously, if you live north of Georgia,
The equator.
or you live in the Midwest, or maybe you live out west, and it snows 4 feet, like right now, blizzards. While we're recording this video, blizzards are on the way to the West Coast and then all the way through middle of America. We haven't had a blizzard here since 1993. Wow.
Woo!
Yeah. And we're
So-
short sleeves today.
I mean,
Yeah.
today
I had to wear shorts
February
yesterday.
23. Yeah, Alec was wearing shorts on February
You
22nd.
do not want to see that, but yeah.
What?
Mm.
Shorts? Shorts?
Short.
Those weren't that short.
They were.
They were like
Yeah, they were.
They were
short.
not hipster short. No, some of those guys.
Yeah, they were hack and sack shorts.
hack and sacking shorts.
Yeah.
like to wear
Official.
to play hacky sack. Me and Marcelo were.
I wasn't
playing
even
hacky
here,
sack in high
man.
school.
I wasn't even here to see.
I'm
the
not
shorts.
really a hacky sack guy. I'm more of a bocce ball guy. If you got
Bocce.
any yard sports, I'll play them.
bocce ball.
Every yard sport is available in Athens. That's another reason.
That
to
is
live
a
here.
Because there's a lot of yards.
So many yard
That
sports.
man, there needs to be a yard sport intramural league where you like, it's like a triathlon of like yard sports that you play with people.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Happy
like,
hour time. Yeah.
That'd be a good tournament to
We'd
have
be
here in
dressing
town.
badly.
You'd
Happy
figure out
hour sports.
you'd
in
figure
front
out who
yard.
the biggest dudes and dudettes in all of Athens are.
dudes and dudettes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh,
Who
when
that?
I remember
the good reason.
coming home. It was probably almost every time I left work. I used to have an office on Millage,
Mhm.
so I'd cut through Millage, and there was a group of people right at the corner of Baxter and Millage. They'd be out there playing croquet
Oh.
almost every day. Like, man, those guys are having so much fun. They're living in Athens. They're living on Millage. They're adults playing croquet every day.
They don't have a care in the world.
Don't have a care. Yeah, because you don't have to worry when you live in Athens.
I don't worry about anything.
The ding.
Yeah, it was
Ding.
perfect time. Yeah, you
Perfect
don't
timing.
you don't have to hurry when you live in Athens. Ding. You're just one.
You just won. Well, that's what happens when you move to Athens.
You win it.
You win.
So today's conversation has been pretty dynamic. We talked about if you're getting displaced, if everything that you've known and loved for the past few years is getting destroyed, come to Athens.
Yeah, or close to it.
Rebuild it.
Jefferson, Monroe,
let's rebuild.
Winder.
If
Yeah.
you've been displaced, your
Statham.
job's been replaced, this is the place.
This is the place. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. Tell them, Rob.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them what it is, bro.